Hey friend, do you ever stare into your pantry like it's a game of what do I do with this random can of beans or this can? Like, can I even make anything out of it? Because same, we haven't been to the grocery store in quite a while, so today I am challenging myself to only meal prep for the week using what is in either our freezer, our fridge, or our pantry. That means no running to the grocery store, no waste, and yep, real meals your kids will actually eat. If you're into saving money and your sanity, you're in the right place. And hey, if this gives you an idea or makes your week a little easier, make sure to hit that subscribe button below and drop a comment. I'd love to hear what you guys are cooking. As you can see, my pantry is pretty bare, not a whole lot to go off of, but looks like we do have a can of cream of chicken, and then also I have these green beans. So let's get those out. And then I think I also have tater tots in my freezer. So we are gonna make tater tot casserole today. That is gonna be our first meal that we are meal prepping. All right, for tater tot casserole, this is super easy and super simple. So we're gonna brown our meat. And once that gets nice and browned, we will add onion powder and garlic powder. Plus I like to add Worcestershire sauce, however you say that, W sauce, because I feel like it just adds an extra layer of flavor and it tastes really good. So you'll want to wait and do that once your meat has totally cooked, the fat has rendered out. You could pour out the fat, but I like to leave my hamburger in the pan, really let it cook, and then it also gets some browning to it instead of just like gray hamburger. So that is how I like to do it, but if you don't want to wait and then let your fat render, you can definitely dump it out and then go ahead and add your seasonings and your W sauce. While our hamburger is browning, I am going to shred up our cheese. So in our fridge, we have this small block of cheddar cheese, and then I also have a little bit of Parmesan. So probably going to go ahead and just do the rest of these. I do have another big block of cheese, but I don't really want to cut into that yet. I kind of just want to use up what we already have. And then once our hamburger is all done cooking, we've got our seasonings and our sauce in there, we're gonna bring it to the island, and then I will mix it in with the cream of chicken soup. So if you have cream of mushroom, that's typically what I make it with. I just don't have cream of mushroom. And like I said, we are not going to the grocery store. So I'm gonna use cream of chicken, and this will taste just fine. It's not gonna be weird, in my opinion. If you think that's gonna be weird, you can run to the store and get some, but it'll taste just fine. So we mix that together, and then we will pour our green beans over the top of our meat, and then we'll sprinkle our cheese over the top of the green beans. Also, so I don't forget, you wanna make sure and drain your green beans. So whether you have homemade canned green beans like I do, or you're buying a can from the store, you wanna drain it. Don't pour all that water and liquid into your tater tot casserole, because that will not taste good. You'll have watery tater tot casserole and yuck. So make sure to drain them. And lastly, we will add our tater tots on top. So if you want to make this fancy and have them all lined up in rows, that is totally great. I am not that kind of person, so I'm gonna dump these all on top. We'll just spread it around, and I'll throw my lid on since I'm meal prepping this for the week. I'm not gonna bake it yet. We will bake it the night that we're eating this, which will probably be like Monday or Tuesday night. Okay, so we're having our tater tot casserole tonight, and let me tell you, today has been a rough day, just like all the things with pregnancy, and it's been busy. So I am so happy that I made this tater tot casserole yesterday and just had it in my fridge for whenever we needed it this week, because it turned out it was today, and I needed it sooner than I thought I was going to. So we made this tonight. It was perfect. Whole family loved it. And yeah, just so glad that I meal prepped this. Good morning. Getting up early before the rest of my family is honestly one of my favorite things to do, especially in the summertime. The birds are chirping outside. This is my favorite time to go outside, soak in some fresh air, 5 to 10 minutes even of just fresh air, that morning sunlight, listen to the birds, and it is so calming before the crazy get things done and a hectic day. So just wanted to share a little bit of my morning with you guys. And now we're gonna make banana muffins. Since this is a pantry staples challenge to myself of not going grocery shopping, using what's in my kitchen already, as you can see, I have these very brown ripe bananas. So I need to use them and make banana bread. And all those ingredients that go into banana bread, as long as you have bananas and then the staples of flour, your leavening agent, so baking soda, baking powder, salt, as long as you always have those in your cupboards, you can make a lot of different types of breads. Banana bread, pumpkin bread, whatever other bread you can think of. But you can typically make a lot of those really easily as long as you have the pantry staples, and then just changing out either whether you need pumpkin or banana, etc. So I'm gonna get all of our ingredients out and then we'll whip these up before I go get my daughter up for the day. Something else I always forget to do is set my butter out so it can soften nicely. So sometimes, like this morning, I threw it in the microwave hitting the 30-second button and didn't think about, oh, my butter probably doesn't need a full 30 seconds. It is what it is, it'll be fine. So I'm using honey in place of any white sugar, and you could actually just omit the sugar or honey altogether because the bananas will provide some sweetness, and really I like it when they're not like super sweet. So up to you on if you want to do. The recipe I have linked in the description will include the sugar, but if you want to omit that, that's totally fine. My blog post also talks about how you can just not add that. And the reason you want to use overripe bananas, like even when they're black like this, is because the longer they sit and the darker they get, the sweeter they get. So it brings out even more of the natural sugars in the banana, and it makes them more moist. If you use them when they're still really yellow or even green, your bread and muffins will be a little more dry. They're not going to be nice and moist. I'm going to put these in our compost, and we need to take this out today. I'm going to go ahead and mix these first few ingredients. And depending on your family, one thing that may not be a kitchen staple for you is cottage cheese, and you don't have to add this. I am only adding it because I only had 2 bananas and typically I add 3. So I want to keep the moisture level up in my bananas, in my bread. So that's why I'm adding cottage cheese. If you only have 2 bananas, you could add half cup of milk, or you could do applesauce because that'll add like a moisture component. But I have cottage cheese. We always have it in our fridge. Our toddler loves it. My husband and I both love it. So it's something that we stock up on for sure. So initially I was gonna make muffins, but then I decided this just sounded easier because it's only one dish instead of having to clean out all those little muffin tin trays. I'll set my timer for 40 minutes. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but one thing that I always have stocked and I buy in bulk is spaghetti sauce, tomato paste, and pasta. So If all else fails, spaghetti it is. But today I do have some bell peppers I need to use up. So we're gonna make a pasta bake since this is for meal prepping and we're not just like eating it tonight. I've got my sauce, I've got my noodles and my tomato paste. I'm gonna get our peppers out because I need to chop those up. So these are ones that I had cut up initially for just eating and snacking on, but we didn't eat them all. So this is my use up the veggies before it goes bad recipe as well. I'm just gonna dice these up small, and typically I would add an onion in this recipe. I'll link the recipe below, but I don't have any onions right now. That's something I need to get from the store. So we are just gonna use onion powder instead of chopping up an onion. And I should probably get my water boiling for our noodles. As you can tell, I spilled some water on my shirt. And when I boil water, I like to add salt into my water. And then I also put a lid on because I feel like it helps it boil faster. Like keeps all the heat inside instead of having no lid and then the steam and everything's getting out. I don't know, it works for me and I feel like it helps. So I added onion powder and then minced garlic to our meat. Okay, so I've drained our pasta noodles and they're in here with no water. And I'm gonna spill some. Bring our meat and veggies over. And then I am going to mix everything in our big pot here and then we'll pour it into a 9x13 pan. So I'll go ahead and we'll add all of our spaghetti sauce. And these are probably 14-ounce jars. There's a 12-ounce mark here, and then there's a couple more, so probably 14 ounces, so 2 of these. Oh, and I almost forgot, I usually add a can of diced tomatoes into this, so I need to check my pantry and my basement and see if we have any. Okay, so we did have 1 can of diced tomatoes left in the basement, so we'll have to add that to our grocery list for next time we go. And then I've got a bunch of seasonings here. I've got oregano, basil, parsley, rosemary, and then we'll get some thyme. If you have an Italian seasoning blend already, just use that. I don't have one, so I'm just using all the stuff that goes into an Italian seasoning. Okay, so the last thing we need to do for our spaghetti casserole is shred up about 2 cups of cheddar cheese. We'll mix some of it in here and then we'll spread the rest of it over top of our bake once we get it all shredded. So I'm gonna do that quick, and I'm using that other big block of cheese that I had in my fridge that I didn't end up needing to use for the tater tot casserole. Add a little bit of another block of Parmesan. So we're gonna go ahead and shred this up. Actually, this might be mozzarella. This is a lot softer than Parmesan usually is. Okay, we're gonna mix in just a little bit of the cheese into our pasta, and then we'll spread the rest of this over the top. Here you have an easy way to meal prep ahead, so then the night of, if you're busy working or you got games to go to, you don't have to worry about cooking anything. You can just throw this in the oven, and then eat it. And less dishes. I mean, there's lots of dishes to do now, but less dishes throughout the week.